All right. These are all of my subject victims for today. We're going to be talking about trailer maintenance. I don't think I'm going to use this card, but I got it. Yes, you can go on your hand. Ready? Okay. So today I'd like to help you guys have a little better understanding of how trailer maintenance can affect your everyday life, or more dramatically, your vacation. So imagine you've been planning this vacation that you want to go on, and whether it's your own trailer or a trailer you've rented, you're headed out, you're going to the beach, and the tire falls off, and it hits the ground, and the trailer flips. That would be terrible. Now, we're going to say everyone's okay in this situation. Trailer comes off the truck, but that's not always the case. So, according to Progressive, there's two types of inspections. Your first level is going to be a basic inspection. Check for safety items like your tires, make sure they're full of air, the correct PSI. Make sure there's no cord showing, some basic things. Make sure you got some grease on your hip. And then the second level of inspection is going to be like a pre-buy inspection, which is a bit more in depth, making sure that everything works as it's supposed to. Nothing leaks, there's no cracked seals, that kind of thing. And a lot of people will do the pre-buy inspection, and that's awesome. They know they got a good trailer when they got it. And that's really important to know, especially if you want to be able to register it through the DMV, you need to have a pre-buy inspection. But a lot of people just kind of forget about trailer maintenance. And it kind of goes to the side until that tire pops and they're on the side of the highway. And then they have to call their insurance and be like, hey, I need a tow because I didn't check my tires and I don't have a spare. That would not be a fun vacation because you wouldn't be going on vacation anymore. So, another really common thing that can happen to your trailers, especially on boat trailers, is the wheel bearing. So what the wheel bearing does is it holds the tire centered in the axle so that it can all spin freely, and it prevents excessive friction and heat from welding the metal together. So if that bearing, so on a boat trailer, as you guys know, is obviously submerged in water multiple times per year, and then it sits. Well, the water will dissolve the grease. Especially, there's some bearings that are supposed to be sealed. I wouldn't trust them to be perfectly sealed, but you can go a whole season without greasing those bearings. But all bearings need to be greased at least once. I would say once a year would be recommended. Every other year if you're not using it heavily. Now, what happens if this bearing is not greased? Is it'll start to smoke first, and it'll get really hot, right? Because there's no grease in there, it's just metal on metal at 60 miles an hour or however fast you're going. And then it'll start smoking, and then worst case scenario is it can lock up, it can break in half, because it's two different shells. You have an inner shell and an outer shell with some roller bearings. And it can break in half and separate from the trailer. And most trailers, especially newer trailers now, they have a grease nipple. And so you don't have to pull the tire off anymore to grease those bearings. You can just hook up a grease gun and pump grease in there until clean grease comes out. You don't stop when you see grease, you stop when clean grease comes out. So you're going to have a lot of grease, it's going to be a mess, not a big deal. Bring some paper towels. Now, that is the most, tires are the number one most common issue with trailer calls. And then the second most common call that insurances get is for wheel bearings. And wheel bearings just get forgotten so easily. They're covered by a little dust cap, and so you don't see it, you don't think about it, and you move on with your life thinking everything's going to be fine. And then, so up next is going to be yearly inspections and routine maintenance. So we went over tires and wheel bearings already, those are the most important for sure. Yearly inspections, if you have a fifth wheel trailer, you're going to want to check that plate, make sure there's no divot marks, there's no excessive wear anywhere, make sure there's no cracks, make sure there's no bluing or any discoloration. And then they have really nice grease plates that you can stick up there. So it's got plastic, grease, plastic, and it's got a little star shape, so it just holds itself up there. You don't have to deal with the mess or the dust. It's quite nice. So you can just plop those on there. If you have just a regular ball and tongue, you can put a little grease on the inside of the trailer side, so your ball isn't all greasy every time you go to touch it or whatever. Kick it on accident, it hurts your shin for 3 days. And then, check the seals if you have an enclosed trailer. You don't want water leaking in when you're trying to enjoy your vacation. And then you're going to have rust as a common issue. So if you live somewhere where it snows, you're going to have salt on the roads. If you live next to the ocean, you're going to have salt in the air. And all of these things create a lot of rust. And so just keep an eye on the rust, make sure that nothing is getting excessively rusted. You can replace parts as needed, and you can overlap it. But always have an inspector or a mechanic. There's lots of them out there. Google has plenty to offer. So road readiness is something that you need to always be thinking about. And inspectors are a great tool. They can be expensive, it seems. When everything goes right, you're like, why did I do this? But when things don't go right, it's much better, and they're a lot more appreciative of having that service done. So I think that'll be it for today. Thank you.